But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
Donald Trump is the only president who took on the FBI, and won. He came out stronger than ever while the Bureau's old guard collapsed around him. This is how the FBI destroyed its reputation while trying to take down Donald Trump. James Comey was the director of the FBI appointed under President Obama. He had a reputation for making himself the center of big political cases. Like in 2016, Comey cleared Hillary Clinton of criminal charges for her secret email server, adding that her and her team were
extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Then days before the election, he suddenly reopened the Clinton case only to close it again with no charges. This would put Comey's indecisiveness on full display and would set the stage for his dealings with Trump. After Donald Trump won the 2016 election, Comey quickly turned his sights on the new president. In early 2017, Comey met President-elect Trump at Trump Tower and told him about an unverified dossier full of unproven accusations called the Steele dossier. And just 2.5 months later, he publicly confirmed before Congress that
the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. And that includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there was any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts.
Behind closed doors, Comey would start taking notes on his private talks with Trump. According to the memos James Comey wrote at the time and later leaked to the media, the president asked him for loyalty during a private dinner. Trump has flatly denied this ever happened. Comey never formally reported the alleged comment to the Justice Department. He only raised vague concerns later with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Comey also claims that in February 2017, Trump told him he hoped the FBI could let go of the investigation into Michael Flynn. Trump has again denied ever saying this, and once again Comey didn't follow official channels. He just wrote another memo instead. Faced with all this nonsense and open resistance from his FBI director, Trump resorted to doing what he knows best.
You're fired.
In May 2017, President Trump fired James Comey. The move sparked an uproar in Washington. The media lost their collective minds.
Nobody's saying it's going to be okay, Mika.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, this is a constitutional crisis, which is why we said this is a constitutional crisis.
This is an investigator who is investigating the White House, and he was just fired by the White House. This doesn't happen in the United States.
I mean, it almost feels like a scene out of The Godfather, but it's not. It's real.
Months later, special counsel Robert Mueller was appointed to look into Trump's ties with Russia. And what they found was a big, fat nothing burger. And with that, Comey's own conduct came under scrutiny. An inspector general found that Comey violated FBI policy by taking his secret Trump memos home and leaking them to the press. Turns out he had given one memo to a friend at Columbia University to spark an investigation of the president. The Justice Department watchdog said Comey failed to live up to his responsibility and set a dangerous example for the FBI's 35,000 employees. By this point, Comey had disgraced himself, even on the left. Many Democrats still blame him for Hillary Clinton losing the election. But after the chaos died down, Comey re-emerged in the media, going on the fake news to constantly attack Trump and promote his books. And then something happened. In May 2025, James Comey was taking a walk on the beach. He stumbled upon the most interesting thing, a perfect shell formation reading 8647. Or at least that's what Comey wants you to believe. James Comey posted a photo on Instagram showing shells reading 8647. For my estimation, 86 means murder and 47 means the president. Huh. The Secret Service would investigate Comey and interrogate him for this, but as of late 2025, nothing has happened about that. My opinion, this was a literal deep state message, a message for people to see and act on. There's no other reasonable explanation for that. Trump himself would weigh in saying,
he knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant, and he did it for a reason.
Incredibly, Comey would actually face some sort of justice, but not for threatening the president. Comey was actually indicted for lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional investigation. According to the Justice Department, the following was the basis for the charges. On May 3rd, 2017, Comey was asked by Chuck Grassley,
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Question 2 on relatively related. Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No.
Has any classified information relating to President Trump or his associates been declassified and shared with the media?
Not to my knowledge.
And just a month later, Comey told a very different story.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
And to whom did you show copies?
The President tweeted on Friday, after I got fired, that I better hope there's not tapes. I woke up in the middle of the night on Monday night, because it didn't dawn on me originally, that there might be corroboration for our conversation. There might be a tape. And my judgment was I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel. And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
And was that Mr. Wittes?
No, no.
Who was that?
A good friend of mine who's a professor at Columbia Law School.
And apparently those two contradictory stories are what got him charged. Ultimately, Comey managed to get the case thrown out on a technicality, not because he was innocent, but frankly because the process was rushed. The government is said to be preparing a new set of charges for him in the near future. But the lying, the memos, the shells, it tells you everything you need to know. Trump was absolutely right to fire this lunatic. Andrew McCabe was the deputy director of the FBI and briefly the acting director after James Comey was fired. He was a career FBI man, but he was far from impartial. In 2015, McCabe's wife ran for state office in Virginia as a Democrat. Her campaign received almost $700,000 from powerful Democrats, including a Clinton ally. When McCabe was promoted to deputy director in February 2016, he gained oversight authority over all ongoing investigations into Clinton, including the email probe and the Clinton Foundation investigation. Despite the financial ties his wife had just received from Clinton-connected sources, he maintained his oversight. He didn't recuse himself until November 2016, only after his wife's donations became public. Just keep in mind, if Trump had an FBI insider who was overseeing Trump's investigations, they'd call it freaking treason. When McCabe took over after Comey was fired, he immediately turned the FBI against President Trump. Within a day or two of becoming acting director in May 2017, he opened 2 investigations directly targeting Trump. One accused the president of obstructing justice by firing Comey. The other outrageously questioned if Trump was secretly working for Russia. McCabe even entertained wild schemes to bring Trump down. He later claimed that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein talked about wearing a wire to secretly record Trump and invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president from office.
A discussion of the 25th Amendment was simply Rod raised the issue and discussed it with me in the context of thinking about how many other cabinet officials might support such an effort.
Rosenstein later said this wasn't true, but McCabe was pushing the idea. In March 2018, just 26 hours before his scheduled retirement, McCabe was fired from the FBI. The firing wasn't about politics, it was because McCabe himself had been caught red-handed. The Justice Department's Inspector General found that McCabe authorized a leak to the press about the Clinton Foundation investigation, a leak that put him in a good light and made him seem impartial. He then lied about this leak multiple times, even under oath. The FBI's own review said he lacked candor, a nice way of saying he didn't tell the truth. Prosecutors considered charging him for lying, but in the end, no indictment came. But as I was finishing this script on December 15th, 2025, there was a new development in the Andrew McCabe saga. Senator Chuck Grassley released whistleblower documents revealing that McCabe may have done far more than just authorize a self-serving leak. The documents showed that while McCabe was deputy director and his wife was receiving almost $700,000 from a Clinton ally, McCabe allegedly obstructed the Clinton Foundation investigation itself. According to the whistleblower accounts, McCabe directed FBI agents to not issue subpoenas, not conduct interviews, and not share banking information about the Clinton Foundation, essentially putting the brakes on a major investigation. Andrew McCabe's supposed lack of candor should amount to lack of freedom, aka put his ass in jail, if this is true. Christopher Wray served as FBI director from 2017 to 2025. President Trump appointed him after firing Comey, hoping for a fresh start at the Bureau. Wray had been personally recommended by Chris Christie, the former New Jersey governor, whom Wray had represented during the Bridgegate scandal. But similar to Chris Christie's weight loss journey, Wray turned out to be a major disappointment. He was more worried about protecting the FBI's image than cleaning up its corruption. In December 2017, only a few months on the job, Wray publicly defended the FBI after President Trump criticized its leadership. Trump had tweeted that the Bureau's reputation was in tatters. Wray shot back that
the FBI that I see is tens of thousands of brave men and women who are working as hard as they can to keep people that they will never know safe from harm.
He essentially denied that there was any problem in the agency. Over the next few years, Wray continued to undercut President Trump. He joined in the establishment chorus attacking Trump supporters. After the January 6, 2021 Capitol protest, Wray testified that it was
domestic terrorism
and said he was appalled by it. And during COVID, under Wray's leadership, the FBI created a threat tag to track parents at school board meetings who were protesting COVID policies and critical race theory curriculum. The FBI opened investigations based on complaints about angry parents. Like, for example, the FBI interviewed a mother who said, "We are coming for you," at a school board meeting. Turns out she was reported because she was in a right-wing moms group and owned guns. The FBI even investigated a father who opposed mask mandates after a complaint said he fits the profile of an insurrectionist and he has a lot of guns. Republicans rightly accused Wray of weaponizing the FBI against concerned parents exercising their First Amendment rights. And of course, Wray signed off on the FBI raid on Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago in August 2022, a raid that was later found in late 2025 to have lacked probable cause. Wray also tried to legitimize the original Russia investigation.
Was the launch the origination of the FBI probe into Russian interference involving U.S. citizens lawfully authorized and pursued?
Well, I think it's important for the American people to know that when the FBI opens an investigation, it does so with proper predication, with proper authorization, based on the law and the facts and nothing else. And I think it's important that the Inspector General found that in this particular instance, the investigation was opened with appropriate predication and authorization.
By the end of Wray's term, Republicans had enough of him. They accused him of turning the FBI into a political weapon against conservatives. Under Wray's leadership, traditional Catholics, parents at school board meetings, and Trump voters all felt the heavy hand of federal law enforcement. After Kamala Harris lost and President Trump was set to return, Wray announced his resignation in December 2024. President Trump celebrated Wray's departure as a victory for America. Wray left office discredited, having pleased the deep state but lost the trust of the American people. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page were mid-level FBI officials who became infamous for their hatred of Donald Trump. Strzok was a senior counterintelligence agent with 21 years at the Bureau. Page was a FBI lawyer working for Deputy Director McCabe. And they were also lovers, sneaking around as they plotted against President Trump. Both of them were deeply involved in the Hillary Clinton email probe and then the Trump-Russia investigation. Strzok actually led the Clinton investigation and interviewed Hillary Clinton herself. He was the one who watered down the FBI's findings, changing the language in Comey's statement from grossly negligent, a possible crime, to extremely careless. That change of wording helped let Clinton off the hook. Then Strzok moved on to target Trump. He's the one who went after General Michael Flynn, setting a perjury trap that got Trump's first national security advisor prosecuted. Through it all, Lisa Page was right there, feeding Strzok legal advice and her own anti-Trump commentary. But what truly exposed Strzok and Page was their own text messages. The two exchanged tens of thousands of texts on government phones, thinking no one would ever see them. In these messages, they poured out their raw disdain for Trump and his supporters. In August 2016, Page asked Strzok, "Trump is not ever going to become president, right? Right?" Strzok replied, No, he won't. We'll stop it." This was an FBI agent promising his colleague they would stop a presidential candidate from winning an election. In another text, Strzok sneered that he could smell the Trump support at a Walmart in Southern Virginia.
On August 26, 2016, you texted Ms. Page, quote, "Just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I could smell the Trump support." And smell is in capital letters, all capital letters. What does Trump support smell like, Mr. Strzok?
Sir, that's an expression of speech. I clearly wasn't smelling one thing or the other. What I was commenting on is
living in Northern Virginia.
What does that mean?
What I meant by that was living in Northern Virginia, having traveled 100 and 150 miles south within the same state, I was struck by the extraordinary difference in the expression of political opinion and belief amongst the community there.
And you described that as smell in capital letters.
Sir, that was a quick choice of words in a text.
All right.
They called Trump every name in the book: idiot, disaster, loathsome human, and far worse. One message talked about an insurance policy in case Trump won, which sounded an awful lot like a scheme to try to sabotage him. Page even texted that President Obama wants to know everything we're doing regarding the Trump-Russia case. These weren't just private ventings between lovers. These texts showed cogs of the deep state at work. Strzok and Page believed it was their duty to stop Trump. When their secret text came out, it blew up in their faces. The Justice Department's Inspector General discovered their messages in 2017. Strzok was yanked off Special Counsel Mueller's team in disgrace and reassigned to HR, an obvious demotion. And Page resigned from the FBI in May 2018 before any discipline could hit her. But Strzok kept fighting to stay. Finally, in August 2018, the FBI's deputy director fired Peter Strzok outright, and he didn't go quietly. He testified defiantly to Congress, insisting,
I can assure you, Mr. Chairman, at no time in any of these texts did those personal beliefs ever enter into the realm of any action I took. And the proposition that that is going on, that it might occur anywhere in the FBI, deeply corrodes what the FBI is in American society, the effectiveness of their mission, and it is deeply destructive.
But no one bought it. He came off as arrogant and unhinged, further wrecking his own credibility. In the end, Strzok and Page destroyed their FBI careers. Both of them later filed lawsuits claiming they were wronged. Page actually won an $800,000 settlement from the government because the FBI had violated her privacy by leaking the texts. Strzok also walked away with a $1.2 million settlement for the same Privacy Act violation. So in a sense, they profited from their own corruption, courtesy of the taxpayers. But make no mistake, their days in the government were over. A judge threw out Strzok's attempt to get reinstated at the FBI, rejecting his argument that he was unfairly fired. And now, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page are just footnotes. They occasionally appear on the mainstream media, still bad-mouthing Trump, but it's all noise at this point. No one cares about them. Now, you can say what you want about the current state of the FBI, but I think America is better off with Kash Patel than Comey or McCabe or Wray. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.